Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. And today we are joined once again. We are joined by a new guest, Dirk Eric Schultz, creator of Swefts and other animations. One of the last webcomics to be introduced in Dumb Comics. Yes, this is kind of an extension of our Dumbcember month, but I figured why not. Right? Hello, give a warm welcome. There's no one here.
Hello, everybody.
Uh, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, Dirk?
Well, I'm Dirk. I'm from Germany, living in Berlin, right now in Bavaria. Yeah, and I draw.
What? What have you been up to though? I initially brought you in because I've always been interested with just the background of Dumb and its history of various animators that have turned webcomics. And I was curious when I talked with Gabe Swar, he mentioned how um, the new comics that came in were often recommended by people who were finished with their comic and they needed someone to replace them. So, how did you end up getting the gig in Dumb or being introduced into it?
By Kyle Carosa, who finished his comic Frog Raccoon Strawberry. And he knew for a while that I wanted to join the crew and give my artistic comics there. But there were never a spot or an opportunity. And then when he finished his comic, he asked me and introduced me to the people who were left, and I got the Friday spot.
Nice. I do remember Frog Raccoon Strawberry. Damn, if you were waiting on him, I just remember it as being like one of the longest running comics on Dumb's repertoire. Like he was at it for a good while there.
It was a long one, yes, next to Nightmare Theater.
Yeah, sadly, but we all know how that ends. How did you get along with the other members, though, or if you did?
I think. Wait a second. It's been a long time.
It's not good. Don't worry.
I think my last post was 2017, 5 years ago. And I started in 2014, and when I joined, I was in contact with Gabe a little bit. He introduced me to the mechanics of the page. And then in general, I had actually not that much of contact to most of the old Dumb Comics artists. Kyle was one.
What did they do?
I had no real contact to them. I never really talked to them. The old comic artists on Dumb Comics, the ones who started Dumb Comics. I never met them. I never had contact to them. I just had contact to Gabe for the first time when I was introduced to the page.
Yeah, he was still I believe he was still doing Life in the Analog Age by the time you rolled around. Maybe?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I know the Saturday spot was by J.V. Balsley, which I even met and talked a lot with over the years.
Oh yeah, Tabloos. I'm actually planning on getting him on too. Hopefully we can get that run smoother.
I can talk to him. I'm in good contact with him. He's also on my Barbecue for Two collab right now.
Oh yeah. The Popeyes animation.
Right. And I can give a word out for him. He probably would join. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I just need to work out a schedule or time for him to come in, but it's all good.
When I started, I think the only ones left from the old crew was Katie Rice with the last Skadi comics.
Yeah.
And that's it. Balsley was one of the middle guys. Brian Drew Hart. I know I spoke that name wrong. She
It's
did
all right.
RPG.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Then Richard Smith, who did Red Fox. He was at Wednesday. I think Tuesday was still Gabe, but I'm not sure anymore. It's been a long while.
Yeah, well, that's actually one thing that I wanted to talk about because, so with Gabe, when talking with Gabe, like he talked about like the introduction and the making of Dumb, and I was curious to see like because you came in obviously further on down the line, I think in what I'd consider kind of the middle to end, late span of Dumb's run, and I was curious to see how the workflow or how the different artists interacted during that time compared to like the earlier times. I mean, obviously, for one, like Gabe mentioned how the original cast of guys, like him, Katie, and all the others, like they were a pretty close knit group. They worked in kind of around the same studio, and so that's how they kind of built that camaraderie and stuff. And obviously as new people rolled around, and you're in. Hey, wait a second! What the fuck is Rob doing? Get out of here! Disconnect. Get out of here, Straggler. Sorry. Um. So in later runs, especially as since you said, since you're living in Germany, especially, you obviously didn't have as much contact with the people. Um, did it feel like a bit more isolated? Obviously, you did have contacts with the Tableaus and them, but like, did you guys ever talk about like getting your updates in and kind of trying to build with one another?
Not really. It was very isolated, but not on purpose or something. It's just they are first. Dumb comic artists are friends. They work in LA and even in the same studio, so they were even in contact after work. So the bond was stronger then, and I live in Germany, and my only contact opportunity was just talking over chats or
Like Skype at the time.
Skype or something, but never really happened. So Katie Rice, I never talked to Katie Rice.
Mhm.
I never talked to anyone except the introduction from Gabe. And the only one from the old group was Ricky and Kyle. I know Kyle for like, I think I met him the first time 2003 on DeviantArt.
Oh wow, jeez.
And since then we were here and there sometimes talking to each other. And Ricky was the one who really spread out and was very interested in showcasing people in his comment section when he was just doing 1 page per week. Later he did 3 per week, which was a bit too much, I think.
Yeah, I do remember talking with Gabe about that. He said like at the time, Ricky wanted to focus more on just doing the comic, and so he decided to take it upon him. So he decided to increase the workload in that way, which I think did help bring put kind of a solid core to Dumb and be the heart of it. But it was it was a lot of work, I'm sure. Sadly, I didn't know that you had much interaction with Ricky. Actually, what was your experience with him like?
Well, I'm maybe talking too high yet now. I mean, I had some interactions, not like I talked with him daily or weekly.
No, yeah, of course.
But Ricky was one who was very open-minded to new people, and he was very friendly and introduced new people very easily. He was a very open guy, and he was one who saw my online galleries and asked me to do a guest comic. And I did one guest comic around 2012 or something. I don't know. And he was also showcasing all the people who did guest comics for him with a big comment section, introduction, and some art pieces he liked from the galleries. He was one of the very open guys.
Yeah. He was kind of the heart and soul. Rest in peace. But
it was hard, yes, but I think harder for the old dumb comic artists than for me.
Yeah, it was a sad time. Even as just a reader, felt it's one of those things that I don't want to linger on too much, but I've always talked about it before when we were talking about when we were doing our Dumbcember special about how it's one of those things with internet culture that you don't really realize until it happens that once you're gone, you don't really know that person. You don't you realize how little you really know about a person, even if, and not just in the bad things or whatever, but even just in a sentimental way. And you realize how much they mean to you, and it's an interesting idea. It's a weird experience,
Mm.
But anyway, speaking of the end, so one of the interesting things with Dumb, at least if I can, let me make sure, just so I can, is that if we go to Dumb now, like the last page that we'll ever see is your art, and so so I may be mistaken. I don't know if this really was the last update for Dumb, was your stuff. How was the end of Dumb? How did that come about, and why did everyone stop? Was it just a petering off, everyone just kind of one by one, everyone's just kind of done, and then you were just the last one out, or was it just all together?
It was a slow death.
Yeah.
I think it's weird to explain. When Dumb Comics started, there were very big names around.
Mm-hmm.
Katie Rice, David Gemmell. Sorry when I speak it wrong.
I don't worry. I butchered Sean Sellis' name in front of Gabe, so it's okay.
Sean Sellis, yeah, I would say it's Sean Sellis.
Yeah.
I have a German European tongue, so excuse my wording. But yeah, it was slow death. I think when all those big stars left, especially when RPG stopped updating on Dumb Comics and focused on her own site and on HiveB, I think, is she updating it?
I think she's still going. At least I sure hope she is. Yeah, I was gonna say if you're talking about kind of the bigger names that were on Dumb, I think the biggest name to come out of that next generation is RPG, and because which garnered a lot of even outside of Dumb popularity.
I think Dumb Comics was more or less, yeah, a nice addition to her exposition for the comic, but it was not her focus. And when the first wave of artists left by said accidents, or they finished their comic or stopped caring for the comic or something,
Mm-hmm.
the only people left were the second wave people. And the strongest of those people were Brian with RPG. She was more or less a flagship. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that.
More or less character page.
Oh, wait, I should actually Usually, I would say I'm not. I'm okay with us getting names mispronounced, but I feel like people who are listening, we're not misgendering Brienne.
Sorry.
No. Just because Brian is an actual male name, and so it's like, wait a second, I thought they were female. Oh yes, it's Brienne. Yes.
Brienne. I'm sorry, Brienne.
It's okay.
It's not mean spirited. I actually spelled the name the first time on live camera with people who know the name, so I'm very sorry.
It's all good. Don't worry, we're not offensive. We're just stupid, if anything.
I say it's okay because you always spell my name wrong.
I mean, I had to. You didn't hear it, but I did have to like practice myself saying Dirk Eric Schultz because part of me just wanted to mish the two together and say Derek. I'm like, no,
Derek is okay. It's one of my nicknames, so it's okay.
Oh,
but in general, my name is Dirk. Not Dirk. It's
getting danger. You have to get dangerously close to Dick, but you know.
I know. The R is close to a C.
Yeah. It's just a little tail underneath and make it to C. That's all right.
I can be a dick sometimes. Yeah, that is an old joke. Yeah, it's so
classic.
Old like the cheese in my dick. No.
Classic German humor. This is what we're here for.
Demonetize when I say that?
Oh, we have to make money first. See, that's the trick, Dirk. We don't have to be professional because we'd have to make money to be professionals.
Oh shit! Money. I have to make money. I don't want to insult anyone. Yeah, back to the main question.
Oh, yes.
The slow death of dumb comics. Mm-hmm. I think the main reason people went to the page was mainly because of the big guys, the first wave people.
Mm-hmm.
And they did updates the whole week long, from Monday to Saturday, and then a guest comic at Sunday, where even the person who did We Wear Bears did a guest comic, for example.
Yeah, I did see that. That was a freaking shock. I was like, wait a second, 3 bear. This can't be. Oh my god, it is them.
I think it was called the 3 Bears or something. But yeah. It was a showcase of people who were in the industry, and they were showing their imagination on one page every day, and people kind of misuse the page also to troll a lot.
Yeah.
And I know David Gamil, he was enjoying to troll the trolls too. So it was a weird time where there was a lot of great content comics, and people went there to enjoy the comics, and there were the trolls who enjoyed to troll, and David liked to troll the trolls.
To be fair, I think that is very much in line with what I always viewed as the spirit of dumb, which it always seemed to me like just an outlet for these creative animation people to kind of put out what they maybe weren't secure in showing on their own, or like pitching towards like studios or stuff like that, and just having the freedom to just make what they wanted to make, which I think is a great example of what webcomics are capable of, because you can just make a comic about whatever you want. You can make your own Star Trek parody and have a lot of people love it.
Right.
I do want to say though, like, I kind of skirted around my opinions on some of the comics of Dumb when with Gabe, but like there were at least as a consumer, there were things that I did. There were some comics there that I wasn't too okay with. Like I still liked them, But like if it was like it's Wednesday or something or whatever day, and I'm like, no offense to Frog, Raccoon, Strawberry, but it wasn't my thing. And but for in terms of like the newer generation of stuff like Red Fox, RPG, despite how it in terms of quality, it is a good webcomic, but I do kind of see it as an outlier just because it's very clean, it's very sweet, and not as it didn't match the sort of chaotic nature that a lot of the other lineup of webcomics from Dumb kind of had. It in a way, not to not to insult or demean the works of RPG. I'm sure she's fine, but
she's running the comic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that I'm not going to slow her down. I hope not. Jeez. But I will say, Swefts, it was like, I really do love Swefts. And when we were doing our Dumbcember special, we read like main 4 webcomics, Skadi, not Through the Porthole, but Earthward Ho, Life in the Analog Age, and then 1920s Nightmare Theater. And I was thinking about like, well, it was fun. It was fun to see like how the humor of the ages kind of evolved, and there were a lot of laughs of looking at some of the political jokes that Ricky did and be like, "Oh, hey, this is funny. You can't say that." It's just awesome.
I also started from day one, and I totally forgot about Through the Wormhole. What was it?
Earthward Ho.
Earthward Ho. Through the Porthole was a captain, was a drunk one, yeah.
Yeah, that was Sean Sellers.
Yeah. They were very short-lived. I think 1 year, 1.5 years.
Yeah, or something, and then obviously he went on to make Flapjack, which he's doing all right now.
He's doing all right, yeah. Everyone who is on that page from the first wave, they're all in the industry somewhere scattered. Gabe did something on Kung Fu Panda 3D and worked for Spamco back in the day.
He's currently executive producer, or at least a producer for the Animaniacs show now.
I know.
Which that was always a fun little thing to bring up. Is feeling like, hey, here's Gabe Swar, executive producer for the new Animaniacs show. Let's go talk to him about this webcomic that he made years ago.
That's completely fine. I mean, it's his work, and through the I mix the names. Sorry, Analog Age was a very personal comic, so not sure if he is interested to talk about Big Pants Mouse, but I think Analog Age is his alley because it's his childhood. So
yeah, it's a great
talk about it.
It's a great example of like the journal webcomic, a genre that you don't see too much in webcomics. And especially not done as good of a quality as he did. He made a really, really fun webcomic to keep track of. Very personal. But what was I saying? Oh. What was I saying? Fuck.
I cannot see into your mind.
The first stumble. Right. So through the porthole, Earthward Ho. So we brought up Earthward Ho. One of the reasons why I brought that up in particular, or why we read that one in particular, was because that was the webcomic that was the first webcomic I read on Dumb. I literally came in right at the last page of that comic. And I'm like, oh shit, this is really good. And I will say, like, Swefts kind of captures a similar vein with that one. In the kind of story chapter format, where it's not full on Gag-A-Day. it actually does. There is an actual plot, like occasionally.
There's a good reason why I didn't choose to do weekly gag comics. Because not that I'm not unfunny or something, that I'm funny or something.
I like to believe I'm funny, you know.
The thing is, when you in Germany and you try to make jokes, translate it into American, it completely screws up. And when I try to do those comics, it ends completely in physical humor, and at the end, it's a comic about one physical humor gag. So I was like, that is not something I want to do every week. I have a weird mind on something, but I know that is not something I would be interested in doing every week personally. And as a reader, I also don't think it would work. There were so many pages of other artists on the on Dumb Comics that did that. I wouldn't be stick out.
That's the weird thing with physical humor is that it can tend to get old after a while, especially with, like, as you've mentioned, like there's a number of webcomics that had done a lot of physical humor, like Rad Raz in particular is a great example, or what was the one that took over for 1920s, or Sorry Guys kind of did that too. And Wicked, no, not Wicked Whistle, but
Robert Isa's comic was very short, but I cannot remember it. Actually, it was a ninja, not something.
it was something. It's all right. But
that is a good example of how Dumb Comics started to fade into becoming what it became now. When the old group left, more or less, and new people came in, some of them were too busy with real life or with jobs, and they neglected their spots on Dumb Comics a bit, and people got very mad sometimes about it, especially with Robert Isa, who I think updated nearly every 4 weeks sometimes. And what was the name of the comic with that goblin? I forgot.
I think that's Wicked Wickle. That's
Wicked Wickle, yeah.
That was Luke McCormicken or Luke Cormican, I believe. Yeah,
I think he's together with Katie Rice.
Yeah, he was co-writer for Scuddy in the early days, and then broke off. Then he did Wicked Wickle, and then I think he came back, maybe.
And there was a problem between the artists and the readers. The readers expected to get every day a new page from each artist, and okay, one time you cannot have all the luck on your side to be able to make one page each week. Their life and job issues come between. But then it happened that the updates really spread out, and people were more and more angry, and it bloated so up sometimes that it was no fun for the artists to do updates, because the comment sections were so toxic sometimes. It was unbearable. So I think then when they left and the second wave of artists came, Balsley, RPG, then came Red Fox. I think I came last. And then I recommended Lewis, who did, I forgot his comic name, with a dog. What was it? Poncho.
Oh.
I think he was the last artist who joined. And they also started to update unregular. And the only people who updated nearly every week was RPG and Swefs. And that was it.
And then RPG moved on to their own website, and then it was just Swefs.
At the end, it was just me. And I cannot carry a whole page, especially with an audience that was used to Los Angeles artists who expected them to have, I don't know. I gave my best, and I outdid myself sometimes so much that I even have killed some of my health just to deliver, but
Well,
it was not enough.
I will say though, like I've said before, I do appreciate the work that Swef's had, and oh yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Um, if there was one webcomic that we did go, if we could do like one more webcomic from Dumb that wasn't from the original crew, I think I would definitely like to read Swef's, and because I think that the boys would really love it, because there's so many in terms of just not only the humor and the style, there's so many like actual good, like legitimately emotional moments in Swef's that I always think back on, like the whole fucking coffee talk. Like that one hit home, and I love it.
I have to give big credits to John Galvin because back in the time my English was very bad, and
Oh,
I used to write more and unnatural words like it wouldn't be as smooth as it was back in the day. And John helped a lot with translating my confused English translations.
I think I do remember seeing a credit for the translations. Yeah.
I don't know if I can advertise his name on Twitter. I'm not sure if he
Go
gets any.
ahead.
Uh,
I
I,
like we care.
he is Sindhu, Synduo, Sindhu, John Galvin. He is also doing animations and stuff. He also did some guest GIFs. I think when you scrolled through all the pages, there were some pages where you saw him doing GIF animations, like when Motti swallowed the turkey. That was his animation. He was always there when I needed him for translating my biggest problem I always had each week. I had no problem with inking. I had no problem with coloring and whatever. But the text was a nightmare for me. I know what I wanted, but I was unable to make it smooth and very on the point in English. In
Mhm.
German, no problem, but translating from German in English, it gets a different story.
Yeah, language barrier can be very real, people. I remember Reverie Happy, I think. They made it like a little comic or something. I don't remember what it was about. I think they were like celebrating something, and then they went around to like all the different characters and stuff, and were like, "Hey, how you doing?" or whatever, and everyone was weird. And then it went to like your stuff, and he's like, and you're just shouting German at them, and I'm like, yeah,
That is
that sounds about right for the kind of dynamic. Just a bunch of miscreants, but you mentioned like the disdain, or uh, if we can soften it up, like the disappointment from the readers because of the lack of updates or inconsistent scheduling. And I do understand that as one of said readers. Um, like one of the main strengths of Dumb Comics, especially in its heyday, was the fact that it was a website that you can come in every day and there'd be something new. And even if you don't like the comic that's there, you know what? You can come back tomorrow and there's be a new one right there just waiting for you. And I think and then one point of web comics, like the creation of it, that is kind of understated is, and I talked about this with Rusty, is consistency. And just being able to keep a schedule is something that not a lot of people can do. It is a hard task. You can always, as I've said, like with when talking about my show with Let's Read, like it's easy to get a group of people one time to be like, "Hey guys, we're all here. Let's go do this one thing." and they'll be like, yes, 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 get it first time, perfect. Then you come back, then you have to tell them, hey guys, let's do it again. And the more people you have, the more opportunities for one of those yeses to turn into a no. And if that no happens, then you got to work around that cog. And it's a problem with a lot of group projects where, if one person doesn't work, then it lets everyone down and stuff like that. It adds more pressure, and I could see, and that's what I figured. It's sad to see that coming from Dumb and knowing that's kind of the downfall, but it is expected. It is understandable. Like it's such a common thing, and I'm sure, especially in your line of work with animation, the more, especially since there's a lot of like hands-on on a big animation project, depending on the project, of course. Like if like the storyboarder doesn't fucking get their stuff done, then the animators can't do their stuff, and then if they can't get the animation done, then fucking everything's gone. It's but yeah, am I right? I don't know.
I kind of agree, but cannot agree because it's a web page where every day was one artist and he was completely alone, more or less, with his comic, and he had no help. And he did it in his free time, and he never got any money. It was pure fun and personal project. It was more or less their hobby that they put on one page and people could see it. Yeah. And when you put your heart in a hobby and you cannot update it regular.
Yes, no, I know.
And you get such toxic responses because you don't deliver something for free and not in a quality they want every day, each week from each artist. I think it's a bit a first problem kind of complaining, I think.
I'm trying to think of the word too. I don't know. It's on the tip of my friggin' tongue. Like,
don't
take
ask
it for granted. Something.
Throw German words in, but
you can. I'm sure that I can look it up and they'll say what it is. I don't know. Is it shot in front? No, I don't know.
Maybe privileged complaining. I don't know. But it's like it's a honky comparison, but you give people each day a free meal. One day it's cake, the second day it's whatever, sweet or fast food or whatever.
Yeah.
And then after some month, the money or the time goes away, and you give the people vegetables each day, and the people start complaining, I don't want a carrot and tomato. I want my chocolate cake. And I think
we take it for granted, yeah.
I think the same happened to Dumb Comics. The most of the audience, or most, I don't want to generalize.
Yeah.
There were many people who also were very forgiving and understood that this was free time work, and not everyone has a rich home where they can go back from work and then sit on their drawing table and have no other worries than the comic.
That's one thing that's part of why it really surprised me when I looked up like the artists on IMDb and I realized, holy shit, these are all animators? These are people with fucking day jobs? How the fuck did they do this? I'm like,
I had a daily job. I went to school. I had the webcomic, and I had an American girlfriend during that time, where I woke up around 3 a.m. in the morning to talk with her in the week. So my schedule was completely filled with work. Besides the comic, I had no real free time. While I was drawing, I had to learn some things for school, and my mind was already in work. What was not about drawing or something. So I had 4 things at the same time. with worries about families, with worry about money, with worries about whatever. And then I did the comic, and I nearly killed myself doing the comic. But when you're the reader reads my comic, you don't see all that stuff. You only see the comic page, and then you're happy to see the update next week, because most of the pages were ending with a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's true. It did end with a to be continued, sadly. But,
then when I had to post a page about, oh, I'm sorry, I broke my leg and I was in hospital. I had no time to work on the comic, and then people came in and said, "You lazy ass!
You didn't break your arm. You can still draw.
Your German bones are made of steel."
It's peak German manufacturing. We know what you do.
Throw in all cliches about Germany. Yeah, your body is like a bunker. You cannot be destroyed. Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that. It was devastating sometimes. I mean, I talk from a very safe point, because when I started in Doom Comics, half of the old readership left already. So there was more or less people
just popping in every now and then, maybe.
There was no real trolling. There were very nice people who left nice comments or something. I don't have the unluck like David or Robert Isa and Wicked Wiggle had some of the nastiest comments, and people who were complaining that they don't get their free shit every week.
That is a good point, though. I mean, as webcomic readers, we do take a lot of this stuff for granted. I mean, I have complained a lot about at least a particular artist, like posting like splash pages and stuff and kind of dragging their heels and plot wise. But I always try to tote and promote that these are things that it's webcomic making in general. It is, as I mentioned, a freaking task, and it takes a lot of determination and willpower to push through and make a consistent schedule. And you can know, and it may seem like just a weekly thing for us, but on the other end of it, it's like it's a daily thing, and we all have our lives and things that we have to do.
The thing is, you also don't know how long someone works on one page.
That's true. We only see the final product.
For myself, I had 3 to 4 days till I was finished with the comic.
Mm-hmm.
I did sketches at Monday. I inked everything at Tuesday, colored everything at Wednesday, and translated, texted everything, and finished it at Wednesday, Tuesday.
It's been so long, I don't even remember days.
And then I uploaded it and premiered at Friday. So the whole week was free time, completely focused on the webcomic. And that was from 2014 to 2017.
Mm.
At the end, I was also a bit
jaded,
scattering with my updates, but I don't want to talk about that.
It's okay. It's okay.
But it was a live event and personal problems, so I'm not obliged to write all the time, I'm sorry, I have problems in my real life or something, when I stop with a comic or don't post every week. People have to accept that. I'm not their I don't know, their personal cook. That was on purpose.
Cook. I'm missing you that entire time. It's like personal cock. Personal cock. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean the rooster.
Yes. And German too.
No, we cannot make that problem. Also with ass.
Yeah. It's a fun part of English. We can kind of hide our dirty words, but
I know, yeah. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
hey.
Yeah, I think Richard, Lewis, me, Balsley, and Brian, we carried the page for I think 1 year long, and then Lewis jumped off somehow. Richard jumped off somehow. Balsley started to post unregularly,
Yeah.
and yeah, Harpy and me were the comics that were every week 1 page somehow. And people lost more and more the interest in Dumb Comics. And then when RPG left because there was no reason for her to post on Dumb Comics anymore, yeah, that was the end.
Yeah. It went out with a whimper. It's kind of a natural way of things. I mean, there's a number of webcomics that I know or used to follow that just one day it's there and the next time it's completely gone. It's nothing left. And
Some sadly never, and Control Alt Del.
oh, well, Control Alt Delete actually did have an ending as far as I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how good it is. I think if I remember correctly, Ethan got blown up by a toaster or something, and just weirdness. But like, pictures for sad children. Like I just remember that entire site getting nuked. Apparently, there was like drama with them and a Kickstarter. That's just bleh. But Antics and a number of webcomics just, it tapers off. Your interest whether it be through just entitled. Entitled is the word that we were thinking of. An entitled fan base. That's what we're thinking.
Entitled fan base.
Yeah.
See, and now imagine me when I'm sitting in front of my computer writing in German and then translating, and then thinking, what is the right English word for that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, isn't it sad that Control Alt Delete Gillette,
the best a man can get.
Oh my god! You guys are nothing!
Best a man can get is only famous for that one comic that is so bad. What is this?
Loss, yeah.
1 stripe, 2 stripes, 1 stripe standing, 1 stripe laying. There's even a meme online about that, and people mocking that one comic to oblivion. That's the only thing I remember from that comic, and I never want to read that because okay, I don't want
personal story. It's okay.
Whatever, but when the aesthetics are so bad, I don't want to read it.
Yeah.
For the characters.
Yeah, that was one. Well, the thing is, like with the Control Alt Delete in particular, there was a number of problems with, or at least criticisms that one could lay at the feet of Control Alt Delete, like very easily. A few things like I remember there was a video or something of Tim Buckley like drawing a comic, and it literally showed him with like copy paste templates of faces and bodies. They're like, what the heck, dude?
Yeah, he was a Flash motion of comics.
Yeah, and we did end up talking about Loss in the December rant, but the main my actual opinion of Loss was that it wasn't poorly handled, but I saw it as from like a writing standpoint, from a creator standpoint, it was him taking an easy, well, relatively easy out, because if you don't know, for those of you who may be blessed enough to not know about the meme of loss, it's basically this one page, wordless 4-panel page where the character Ethan rushes to the hospital and he goes to meet his wife and sees her on a hospital bed, and she had a miscarriage. Sorry. And so, for my opinion, when that came out, I was okay with it. Like, I understood it. It was okay. Like, compared to like how the rest of the comic was handled and how it tried to do its writing, like that part, at least he's not trying to make a joke of it. He's not trying to be stupid. And part of it was that Tim had gone through this, wanted to do this whole story of Ethan having a child and getting ready for fatherhood, and it was going to go into this whole thing where he now has a baby and now he has to take care of the baby. It's like it's like a classic sitcom thing where, now we're going to spice things up by throwing in a baby character. And then Tim realized, I don't know how to deal with that, and this is not a good idea. And so, but the character's pregnant, so what do you do? Make the sacrifice. It's not even a real baby, It's not even a real baby. Could have been handled better, but knowing Tim, it could have been way worse.
Back to Doom Comics.
No, you don't have to stick on Doom. Okay, wait, but back to the whole meme thing, because you mentioned like how it's weird how we're only known for like one thing, right? The thing is, though, like, especially now with the modern webcomics, that's kind of how we are now. That's kind of how like a lot of webcomic or artists kind of make their name nowadays. Like, Shen has like a number of webcomics where he's been memed to hell and back. That's the guy who does like the big blank character. It has the word life on it, punching the main character or whatever, and it's being like that. He made the bike comic, which that one's also a meme. But like, he's been memed to hell and back, and he's managed to kind of make a name for himself and he kind of worked with that. And there's also like Sarah Anderson, who's done a lot of stuff. Or let's not forget the 5 minutes of spotlight that not Erica Moen had. She did Oh Joy Sex Toy. If you ever seen that pink picture of the guy being like, I'm a cuck and proud, that's that person. And yeah. I think it just kind of goes with internet culture, though. A problem with it is that we're very short attention span, and we kind of do get we're known for like one thing maybe most of the time, and like we'll maybe get a million views off that, but only 500 people are going to actually care to look at the rest of it. And it can be kind of it can definitely be pretty soul crushing. Do you build off that, or what do you do?
Again, was a question?
Oh, is there a question?
Was it a question?
No.
I mean, when I can continue on that point, I think what I noticed in all the years when I was putting my content on DeviantArt, on Twitter, on Tumblr, rest in peace, Tumblr. You
they don't let me fucking put 10. The text post for Tumblr, they have a maximum cap of 10 pictures now for a text post. I don't know why. Stupid.
Doesn't matter. The page is dead, and it's good.
I held out for as long as I could on it. I'm sorry.
Now the hellhole is Twitter, but that is another point.
Oh god, fucking formatting for Twitter makes Tumblr look so much easier, man. It's stupid.
You can write whatever you want. You are so short in your messages that people always get you wrong and like to put you in a position where they shred you into pieces and can use you for whatever reason. Like, the last weeks I got tons of...
Yeah, you were talking. You've been tweeting about turning red.
Yeah, people were writing me all the time. What do you think about the turning red, turning aquamarine, turning big, turning earring green?
Oh,
Turning Soylent Green was an okay movie.
It's whatever. It's lukewarm. We need our hot takes. We need an opinion so we can fervently agree or terribly trash you. Stop fence sitting.
I'm very, very in the middle all the time. I try to be a centrist. I tend more into the liberal area, but I don't like to be an absolutist or an 100% person.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Also, when I make posts that sound like I'm very angry or very happy or something, I'm trolling all the time on Twitter. I try to piss people up because I know those people are so into their own asses that they cannot accept a meaning that is completely the opposite or something more neutral.
We want to see it the way that we want to see it, okay? This is what we expect of you. Either you are... What's the fucking Anakin Skywalker quote?
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
If you are not with me, you are my enemy.
Luca came out half a year ago or something. People already completely forgot about Luca. Now it's turning red, and people go bonkers about it. And they want my absolute hate or my absolute love for it to shred some of the opposing team to death, saying, "Look, he likes it.
Look, this animator does not like this animation. That means that my argument is stronger now."
Yeah, so I avoid saying what the problems of the movie is and what the strong parts of the movie is. I just say, it's an okay movie. Shut up.
If you like it, you like it. It's whatever. Make your own fucking opinions, people. Be strong enough to fucking say it.
Next movie, The Batman. Next movie, Encanto. Next movie, Raya and the Last Dragon. Next movie.
Everyone wants to be a reviewer now. That's the problem.
I hate those reviews. I'm that serious. People, you do YouTube videos and say, "Hey, people, I watched that movie and I have to give my opinion. I liked it or I hated it." Am I a god for you now? Because I can shred the movie apart with my logic thinking and stuff. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
And the worst part is these people have more page views and attention than the artists who worked hard on these movies.
Yeah.
I have a friend who worked on Raya and Encanto, and I think on Turning Red too, but I'm not sure. It's Elena Wooten. She's a sculptor. No, not Elena Wooten. Elena Loftus is her name now. She married one of the Cory Loftus. And I know her from DeviantArt times from back in the day, 2003 or something, and she did a sculpture of one of my characters, Morty. And we occasionally talk sometimes here and there, and she likes my art, I like her art and something. I don't care if the movie is bad or good. She has her job, she gets her money, she can express herself. Fine.
And that's pretty fucking good, you know.
Fine. The movie is not putting a finger in your ass. It's not spitting in your face. It's not raping your mom. It's just a movie. And when the movie
what if I wanted to, though? I'm sorry.
Personally, I hate Raya. Raya was one of the worst Disney movies ever. But I'm not running around and pointing at everyone who says I like Raya and tell him you're a fucking bigoted idiot who kisses Mickey Mouse ass all day for liking that bullshit. Why should I do that? Why?
We have enough of that sort of thing. You don't need to fucking say or have your voice in the chorus. Is just stupid.
It's completely okay when you post your opinion about a movie, when it's rational and not, I want to spread hate now and throw in some completely unobjective insults and whatever out just to piss off people, to be an edgelord or whatever. Or one of these guys, oh, I'm a Disney fan. The movie can be as shit as possible, but I like to swim in the shit pool of Disney. Yay! What? But those people are the ones who get the most attention, especially on Twitter, and I don't understand that.
Yeah,
it's like people want to read all the trash. They want to see Honey Boo Boo in Twitter or something. I don't know.
I think that's, to kind of reel it back in, I think that's one of the biggest problems I have with some of the modern comics, or, well, quote unquote, modern web comics nowadays, like Twitter comics, because it's like we mentioned about the whole meme culture. It's the extremes that rise to the top, sadly. And so if you're not like, and it kind of paints this picture, or at least feeds the mentality that if you're not putting out something that is like super relatable or super extremely like controversial, like yeah, fuck it, we'll just mention it, Stone Toss. Like, if you're not Stone Toss, you're not fucking making it.
Are these movies really that over the top?
No, I'm not talking about like the movies necessarily, but like the reactions to the movies, like you mentioned. Like, it's the big criticisms or big controversial takes about the movies that like get retweeted and get like all the views and whatever.
Isn't it funny that the movies who try to be as bland as possible are the ones who gain as much hate or love unnecessarily, and movies who even don't get noticed from American audience especially, maybe when the movie wins the Oscar for Best Picture, like Parasite or something, there are hundreds of very provocative movies from Europe, Asia, and something gory, nudity, and something stuff you can be angry about. There's a movie maker from Greece named Costa Gavras who makes political movies that are so provocative. You have to think about how the fuck can you make that movie without getting away, without getting killed or something. And the American audience is pissing themselves about the Asian-influenced movie Turning Red for being too bean-mouthed or too... I don't know what they are pissing about. I don't know. But it's so silly. I'm also not a fan about the stagnation of art styles that is coming from America, but shut the fuck up and look movies from the past or from other countries, not only from Japan. Japan. There Europe market. There's the Asian markets. Even Africa makes some animated movies. There's tons of content around, and there's even a better Turner Red movie called Persepolis. Has anyone talked about Persepolis? There's an Iraq girl coming to Europe because there's war in her country, and she's also talking about sex and her menstruation and something. But when there's a Disney movie talking about blood coming out of the vagina of the woman, it's like the revolution of the world.
Oh, is that what that movie is about? I'll be honest. I keep myself in a fucking... I pay for YouTube Premium. I keep myself in my nice, happy, ad-free bunker. And all I just say are the pictures. And I didn't realize, oh, that's what that movie was about? Oh.
Sometimes I believe American movies are still in their pre-teen times, or they evolutionized into it. I mean, look back in the day, in the 80s, what movies were made there? Nobody talks about the movie Crying Game, where a detective is spying on a prostitute and falls in love with her, and then it turns out she is a
She's
transgender.
trans, yeah.
She's trans. Nobody talks about that movie. It's a great movie. And there are so many woke and progressive movies made in the past. Okay, it's not like there are many of these movies, but when we are very serious and very honest, the audience is also not there. The movie industry is still a business, and they want to make money with the majority of audience. And transgender, homosexuals, and something, they need their content. They
They
have
need pandering, baby.
they have to be content makers. Give them all the opportunities, but they cannot expect that all the media has to be like what they want. There's still the big mass of movies and stuff that are made for the worker class of the world, and they are sadly not a minority. But yeah, in the 80s there were so many people. Like, nobody talks about Jane Campion, a great female director who made The Piano, or now Oscar-nominated movie Doc. What's it called? Dog Days something.
Duck?
Dog something with dog. I don't know the English name. But also fantastic movie. Kathleen Turner, who did The Hurt Locker, won an Oscar for Best Directing and Movie. There's so many great examples. Baz Luhrmann is doing an Elvis movie right now. Is anybody talking about Baz Luhrmann, a gay director? Is he gay? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe it's wrong. But there's so many representative people in the movie business, not only in America. The Americans have to look around the globe. There's so many great people. Roland Emmerich is gay and married a gay person lately. I don't know. He did Independence Day. A gay person did Independence Day, one of the most successful movies in the 90s. There are so many great people, good people, nice people, but everyone is concentrating always on the negative parts. Like, there's not many people in the industry who represents themselves or something. Yes, but all you have to do is making it easier for these people to do these movies, but don't get them in just because they are that. That is a problem. And there the people don't understand where it goes to. And it's such a trigger topic for so many people. I don't understand it. Like, I do Barbecue for Two Reanimated right now. I don't care if anyone is gay, a woman, a kid, an old person. I have people around the globe. I have gay people, I have lesbians, I have women, I have old people, I have famous people, I have not famous. I don't give a crap what your skin color or your sex orientation or gender or whatever is. Do good art, and you're in.
Yeah.
And I think the business should be equal like that. Give everyone the opportunity to join and give them a chance to make a movie. When they make bad movies, they're out. If they make good movies, they're in. As easy as that is.
Yeah. I think, well, you mentioned, I think the problem here is that I think especially with the social conduct of clout chasing and getting that high rise out of people, part of the reason why we latch onto like people getting triggered by this content. It's like I said, we look for the extremes, and it's sad to say, but saying that, hey, this thing is good is no longer enough, or no longer enough to garner the attention, or as if you were to say this is terrible or this is the greatest thing in the world and you need to look at it right now. Like one of the things that and to bring it, try to bring it back, one of the things that we try to do here with the Let's Read, and in particular with webcomics, is that it's like you said, these are passion projects that people have sunk in years of their lives. Some people have been working on these for like over a decade, and they've been at it every fucking day, trying to get people's attention, trying to put out a great product. And it's sad to say, but not all of that work is as recognized as some of the other work, because it's not as inflammatory, or it's not as memeable as some of the other content that's available right now. And it's a shame. Like, one of the reasons why I made this whole show is because I want to shed a light on these comics or these art that people otherwise wouldn't know about, but it definitely deserves people's attention. Like, there is definitely, I think people lose themselves in like one scene or one moment of a comic or a movie or anything, and they just latch onto that, and they forget to look at it as a whole and recognize kind of everything that went into and that surrounds that panel or that scene or that movie. And we, like, I always like, and I think Twitter does kind of feed into that because of the fact that you only have, you know, whatever, 30 words or less, or only you can only post four pictures at a time. And you're never going to be able to get a clear picture. You're never going to get that full context. And so people don't have to, or we're conditioned to not having to look at the full context. You don't need to understand everything about whatever's thing in. We can just do it this way.
This would turn people insane to look up everything from each artist out there. It's impossible. You go bonkers.
It's true.
I tried to catch up with everyone I know from back in the day, and now you can't. One day you have a big blob of avatars in your head merging together to a big monster hydra, and you don't know where the body is anymore. I completely understand that. But on the other hand, the algorithm, the cloud chasing and something like that, I'm online since when have I joined online? I think I got online 2001 or 2.
Damn, yeah.
I was very late to the game. And
you say that, but remember, it's now enough time that people have been born within that time, and now they're on the internet, and they're.
It's 20 years. People who were raised with internet are now, having hair on their ball sack. It's scary, but in all these 20 years, I'm constantly posting art. And I'm still don't understand how the algorithm works. Can only say some examples. Like 2 or 3 years ago, I made a not safe for work Twitter account. I don't say it here.
No, it's hard. Yeah, you don't need to advertise. Maybe that it's not good.
My first Twitter account, main one, I think I opened it in 2008 or something. It's been 14 years now. Right now, I'm at around 11K, but that was because I have posted something that spread something I don't know. And my not safe for work account, I created it in 2020, I think. And I just posted around 4 or 5 months some pinups or stuff, and I raised 40K page view followers in less than 6 months. So my inner cynic can say now, okay,
people are horny and it gets the views.
And they just want the real deal in a short moment, and they don't care for content, they don't care for intelligence, they don't care for development, for story or something like that. On the other hand, people are sexual beings and they like that, and some people don't have a girl, boyfriend, whatever, and they need stuff like that. I don't know. But even on other pages, fan art is always the thing that gets you the page views.
Yeah, because to maybe give my opinion on how that works is maybe just people want to see what is familiar to them and what they recognize. And like I know that I've talked with a number of artists, and they're like, yeah, just making like fan art and stuff like that, or ingratiating yourself into a fandom is it can be a very lucrative way of becoming recognized and stuff like that. I mean, we before this show we talked about Max Galardi, and like what yeah
Pony.
what okay
He got famous for his My Little Pony cartoons.
yes, exactly, the whole Mov series. And one of the things that one of the reasons why I love that, and why like that's like a lot of times like trying to ingratiate yourself and trying to like game the algorithm or social behaviors and whatnot in that way by creating fan art and stuff, like it can often come off as very artificial and kind of I hate the word, but clout chasing. Why, first of all, how the fuck did that become a word, clout? Why did we come with it for that? Anyway,
it's an English word. It's your thing. We used it in German language now, and the old Germans don't understand Anglizismen. And hey, Mom, I'm cloud chasing today. She's like, what are you talking about?
Are you going into the sky, son? What are you talking about? Are you getting high? Are you taking some of those drugs? You're chasing clouds? What's wrong with you? No, but one of the things though, when in terms of like the Mov series and Max Galardi, like I love that series when it came out, just because as a fan of his, like just from the Newgrounds days, you could watch that stuff and you know that you can see Max inside there. You can see it in the humor, the way that he writes, the way that he animates, the jokes that he throws in. It's all purely Max, and I love that about it. It's just off the wall, kind of doing whatever the fuck he wants.
There's a fine line between fan art that you use as a platform to show yourself, and fan art that is pandering 100% to your audience. There are fan artists who copy the style of a certain show or a character so good. From a technical point, they are on spot on the character and recreate the mood, the setting, and something like that. But at the end, what is the difference between this artist and the artist who created Sonic and the art before him? He's like a continuation of him who was before him. There are very nuanced elements in the drawing that might show that it's him.
Yeah.
But when you have a character like Max, he has that very roundish geometric style and flash elements in it. And Spamco is also there. I don't like to say Spamco comparison because I hear it all day too. But yeah, there's that Spamco style of humor and grotesque imagery.
That classic fucking wide evil grin. Like I've seen that. I've seen him do that a few times.
If you would replace the My Little Pony cartoons he made with some random characters he made, he wouldn't even really notice a difference. And I don't find the humor in, hey, look, I made a character who is cute, very grotesque, horny, and slutty. I don't like that humor. I more like his humor he's creating with telling the story and something. And now he's doing his brain dump. And it's very different and stuff, but I'm also a bit...
Well, the thing is, if we to go down the rabbit hole, it's actually funny that you mention like that and I need to fucking get the archive of it because did you know? And I'm gonna bring back Tumblr. He had an Ask blog called Ask Japalack, which is literally his Applejack character and he made an ask blog where people could ask the character questions, and he'd have like funny jokes and stuff, and just kind of respond in a way of kind of interacting with the audience through this character. It's really cool, very fun.
And then he reappeared in the last episode through a wormhole and said, "Hey guys, I was not here. What happened?" Yeah.
Yeah. But I bring it up because you mentioned how like the writing and stuff. Like obviously the Dotmov series is not well known for like its plot driven or any like kind of character stuff. But in that ask blog, hidden in that ask blog that like probably 20 people, probably myself included, read, he actually made an entire plot line that happens between I think Swag.mov and then and what the last one, in which one of the characters dies, and it becomes this actual story of Applejack grieving over her dead sister, and then going on to fight an actual god of greed and gluttony, and in the form of like this apple centipede, and she eats it. She fights a god. She literally goes and kills a god. And then in the actual video, in the last episode, like, because Applejack was in a coma, she when she comes up to, she's like, "Hey guys, I'm back. Hey, did you know I was doing this thing?" And they were like, "Nobody cares." But I killed a god. Nobody cares. He literally just told her to shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about this actually really cool subplot that you did. And it's, I don't know. Sorry, that was a tangent.
It's okay. When you like it, I haven't read it. And I don't really care.
It's alright.
Okay. No. I don't mean it like that.
No, I know.
Throw in names and stuff, and I'm like, okay.
Yes.
So I bring up some Luxembourg states and names or from Belgium or
yeah. Speaking of things we don't care about, but no.
There's a German capital that is named yeah.
But
cut that out.
But no, it's not good. I think though Max is a great showcasing of retaining your spirit, because I think when we were talking about creating fan art and using that as we talked about using that as your way of kind of getting noticed, especially nowadays. I think a problem that some artists can find themselves falling into, especially if they are only known for making fan art. Like great examples would be Lumineko, Atrill, and other artists from the pony fandom. Like they end up branching out, and they're only known as like that pony guy or whatever. And Max, on the other hand, because he's so off wall, and he's been in this for so long, once the Dotmov series was done, he was done. He didn't like go back. He didn't come in and be like, "Haha, we're gonna keep doing this" or whatever. He ended it, and then he did his own thing, and it's that takes a lot of respect, honestly. Like, I feel like a lot of people can feel trapped into just doing what they think works, or what will get the views and get people's attention, because that's the most profitable, that's the most positive, and that's what works. And they lose themselves. They have there's the risk of losing yourself in that, I think.
In the long run, it won't help you. But maybe I'm one of the old school artists up without internet. I believed for a long time when you put out content with a good quality, nearly every day, and you bring ideas, own designs, fan art, spins, You don't do the same mood or drawing all day. One time I was very moody, did depressive stuff. Then one day I did goofy stuff. Then I did mocking Sonic fans. Then I was mocking them. Then I was pleasing them and stuff like that. I did the webcomic and here and there. I'm spread it around. When the longer you are online and continue to do work, I think on the long run, people remember you better and more fondly than someone who is just stuck in one fandom and it's not really bringing his voice out and stagnating in the style and ways he's seeing the world.
Or, to put it in another way, they're being one-trick pony. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Can we move on from ponies? I hate bright, sparkling, carrot-eating.
Have you seen what is your opinion on the animation of the new show? The 3D. No, I'm just kidding.
Who the fuck cares?
I haven't watched that. I stopped watching since season 3. It's okay, but
I'm done with ponies and horses. When I was working for Gert Hahn and had to draw thousands of unicorns and other sparkly shit makers, I don't want to. My Little Pony gives me nothing artistically and story-wise. I have nothing against anyone who likes it, but it's like
it's kind of dull. It gets lame after a while.
That's a good example where something so simplistic gets overblown and remembered and pushed to an extreme where it's not even remotely worth it to talk about that show.
It's the meme. It's that meme culture. I'm telling you, it's the most profitable thing in the world.
That is a part where the industry knows how to deal with these people, and that is a thing I was scared for a long time, that people, studios like Disney and so know exactly and watch the Twitters and whatever online people and really do charts about those people and what they want to see. And now we have the result. Everything is a reboot. Everything is a remake. Everything is it's so tiring. I don't know. I'm actually watching Golden films right now because I want to feel something, even if it's disgust and hate and anything. But those movies were at least authentic, stupid.
Yeah.
Not some artificial generated pleasing movie for an audience that I cannot really connect anymore. Maybe I'm an old fart. I'm bitter and cynic. I don't know.
You're just a bitter old German man. It's over. It's over.
We Germans have no soul anyway. We have no humor.
You're all about the work, whatever.
All we do is looking at grey walls and complaining about that it's not darker or lighter.
And eat a sausage.
Hey, don't be racist.
Okay.
We only eat schnitzel, okay? And sauerkraut and shit like that.
Yeah.
The industry needs people who are a bit more authentic and risk-taking. Like back in the day when Fleischer and Disney was competing and each other, there was a new world of animation. You can do that and experiment here and there. You can draw that, and there was more variety and fun in it, everything. But nowadays you have all the big companies with the big money, and all they are doing is safe bet movies. And the really, really, really unique movies, especially the ones who are outside of America, could make a complete change of the industry. They get so ignored by the industry, especially Disney. Disney is
it's a monopoly almost now.
It's a very horrible company. They don't want anything to be as successful as they are, and if you look at the market, there's so much good content.
Yeah. If we just do a little digging. But that's work. That's work, and no one wants to do that. Why would we want to search? That's why we pay. That's why they pay the big bucks on marketing. That's why they fork out like tens of millions of dollars on marketing to fucking shove whatever new movies in your face so you can talk about it.
It's easier to point it with fingers and say, "You're all shitty Christians," or "You're all shitty communist liberals." You.
Now let's talk about Ukraine. No.
Hmm?
No, nothing.
About what?
Nothing.
Nothing.
There's nothing happening in the world right now. We're here to talk about comics and animation.
Who cares about Ukraine? There's nothing more important than talking about the period and turning red.
Yes, exactly.
And Ukraine is not so far away from my borders, so
yeah. Yeah, holding on. Is that why you're in Belgium right now? No.
No. I'm in Bavaria. That is
Bavaria.
The Texas of Germany. But
it's almost Germany, as we call it.
Bavaria is almost Germany, kind of. They are part of Germany, but they don't really want to be a part of Germany. Kind of in between.
It's like Quebec in Canada.
I don't know the comparison, but
I'm not Canadian. But message of the day, bringing it back in. I guess it is. When you were talking about like just making the best product or making it as good as you can, and having that speak for itself. That's definitely one of the things I try to promote, and I do still believe in that. I do want to believe in that. I think
I still want to believe in it too, but
the power of it is
America makes it very hard for me lately. Very hard, and internet too.
The way of the internet is just very strong pull. But I think that's why I really want, or that's one of the things that I appreciated with webcomics, because when I got into webcomics, like they weren't so big on Twitter, or at least we didn't have Twitter as prominent as they do now, and other social medias like that. So a lot of times the main way that, well, at least I would look up like webcomics is word of mouth. And being able to be like, hey, look, I'm like, hey, I like you. What do you like? What kind of webcomics do you like? And they're like, oh, I've read this, and that. I'm like, oh, well, if you like these, then I may as well read these. And then just go down the rabbit hole of stuff. And if you do that, you'll find a lot of really great artists. Like, there's definitely a lot of trash webcomics stuff that I look at and I'm like, I'm not gonna touch it. I respect the grind, but I feel like there's bad things ahead if I read this, so not today.
I think the social group power is far more important than the good reputation and mouse propaganda. When you look at comics like what's called here that with the trolls, what is the name?
With the troll?
Homestuck.
Oh, Homestuck, yes.
The artwork is bad and basic, but somehow I cannot point at it. I don't know. It's like I have to get a doctor in something to get how it works. Maybe he paid for page views and that gave him algorithm opportunities and that sparks a viral effect or something. I don't know. But
sometimes it's just posting the right stuff at the right time. I mean, like, we're like right now we're reading Two Kinds, which is one of the most famous slash infamous furry webcomics, and like it's stupid, it's cringy. The art quality, at least at the start, is pretty bad, but the fact that it came out in like 2007 or 2006, I think, like kind of in the right before the heyday of webcomics. And I think because of that, it garnered a good enough or a solid enough following that once people started to really pay attention to webcomics, I believe in like 2008 or so, it had something to kind of present. It was a little slightly more polished, and also the fact that it's furry made it had a solid enough foundation for people to be like at least somewhat interested.
Furry always works. It's like nowadays, like porn and gore and furry, that is like the same kind. It always works.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, it has been one of the most steady, higher grossing view counts on in our channel. Like they've been averaging like 100 views in like a week or two for each fucking episode, which is still surprising to me. I mean, it works. But one thing, if we can briefly talk about Homestuck, I understand what you mean with not getting it, because I tried to read Homestuck, gave it my best shot, made it 7 acts in, and that's a pretty long ways in, and then I stopped. I think one weird thing, I think a part of what made Homestuck like more interesting to people was the fact that it did a format of comics that people didn't really see as often, and it really utilized the whole web format to its advantage by using like GIFs, sprite GIFs, basic Photoshop images, and having this surreal art style, and then throwing in occasional flash animations for things with its own custom music and stuff like that. It kind of grabs your attention because it does stand out a lot from your typical webcomic. Not my thing, though. I don't like that you have to read. All the dialogue is a fucking script at the bottom of the page. That throws me the fuck off. I don't understand it, but it's a thing,
To a point, you have to accept that you're an old fart and the world is turning around and it does not stop for you. And you have either to adapt or stay in your old bubble with all the old content that just doesn't grab the audience today. I can totally see that, and also reflect myself and see that I shouldn't be bitter about a lot of the new content. And I'm not. I love, for example, Steven Universe. It's a great show with new ideas and new content and stuff. It's not completely original. No, nothing can be completely original anymore, but there's a lot good things in it. And then there's stuff like Thundercats or Roar or something. Okay, I shouldn't talk about it because there are people in the industry who would hate me now and ban me or block me or unfollow me for saying that.
You can't talk about She-Ra, okay? Although I think if I can bring up my own cynical opinion, I think that is starting to be like a new marketing technique almost that some big brain, big companies have started to capitalize on, which is initial controversy, like trying to stir it up. Like
there's no real about that the industry is using every trend that ever appeared and monetizing it and capitalizing it. It's no secret. When cowboys appeared and people like cowboys, they did cowboy movies. When Western appeared, they did that stuff. Then when samurai became popular, they did samurai. It's always the case. And now we have the rainbow topics, wokeness and stuff like that. And nobody should be so naive to think that the industry is
Suddenly caring about us or whatever.
about you or about your individual problems or think those. They just want your money, and they know when you bring out a movie about your gender or something, and you have that gender, you liking that, and give them money. That is what they want. It's not
Mhm.
about politics. It's not about gender. It's not about giving you a good time or something. They just want to give you the fast food you need. Back in the day, it was the stupid Christians. Now it's the stupid liberals. Tomorrow it's the stupid Christians again. It's always the same. Has anybody did a good German movie in America once? I want my German movie. I want to be a representative in a movie, not a Nazi or a stupid weird scientist or whatever you
Roland Emmerich or something, I don't
with
know.
Lederhosen or stuff like that. I want a movie that represents my German culture before Nazi time or after Nazi time. Have you ever made a movie about the Berlin Wall fall time? No. Man, you're not so progressive. You're all Nazis.
Uh,
Uh,
Wait, it's easy to stereotype, man. It's too easy. Give me that quick, easy money, and we'll take it every day. This is the way of the world, really.
so boring. And when you're really honest and very objective about those cultural movies we talk about, we most of the time when it comes from Disney, it's not really Asian culture they're showing. They're showing Asian American culture. That is a whole different topic. And when they show it, they show the surface of the culture mostly in their movies. But at the same time, they complain about movies in the past that were too racist or something. But it's actually the same. They just show the surface of the country. They don't know what the Asian culture really is because they don't hire real Asians into their studios. They hire Asian Americans who were like the second, third, fourth generation in America or Canada. They barely see the culture from China, Germany, whatever country you can think of. They just know the family traditions that came from the country, and that is surface level, and mostly they experience the American culture.
Yeah.
So where is the real progressive part in these movies? And we had those movies in the past en masse too. So why are these new movies in any form any different than the movies in the past? Just we don't show stereotypes of Chinese people with long teeth and head, and they say "ching chang chong" or something. That is racist. I'm completely aware, but
It is also pretty funny. No.
no, it's not. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, then you see Scottish people, German people, Italian people getting stereotyped in the media. Still, the Animaniacs had that one episode about Russia, and it was one of the most stereotyped versions of Russia I have ever seen. I mean, okay, Putin is an ass, but not the whole country is for Putin.
Yeah.
There are many. I have a Russian friend who left Russia and went to Italy, and he is glad that he left Russia because Putin is an ass, and there's controversies like, okay, what's the Animaniacs show? There's stuff like that. But on the other hand, they say they don't want to show that kind of stereotyping, and then they put an episode with the worst kind of showing it. So where's the line? Where's it satire? Where's it racism? Where's this cultural stereotyping? Where's the difference? I don't see it. You either do 100% satire or you do 100% cultural representation. There's no in between. And every time you, as an American, do a culture that is outside of America, you are stereotyping.
Yeah.
So when you do a movie about Germany, hire Germans, and not Germans who lived in America for like 5 generations. Actual Germans.
Please give Dirk work. Please, no.
Oh, that is a different topic. I want to get married in America for a long time. But yeah.
Thankfully, I just wanted to make a quick jab that thankfully I am blessed because I'm a Pacific Islander, as they say on my passport. And
Pacific
so our track record of Disney movies is Lilo and Stitch and Moana, and both were really good. So I'm happy. I don't care that we don't get like fucking 10 movies on our culture, because for one, there's a variety of different island cultures, and they're not all the same. But also, as long as they're fucking good movies, I don't give a shit. I could really care less.
I mean, how long is Hawaii a part of America? Since 1940?
It's been a while. I think it was James K. Polk who was the one, or it was under Polk that that America sent someone out and said, "Hey, there's islands in the west here, or in the Pacific. We'll just take it. We'll just be there." And then, which was good, because before that was the Spaniards, and they were not nice.
Mm. But yeah.
Yeah, old timey conquistadors, that whole shebang, whatever.
Nobody expects conquistadors.
We should have been like fucking Cook Islands, or we should have been like Hawaii. The moment that Cook came back unscheduled, they were like, "Hey, you're not a god. Kill this man." And they did.
Hawaii must be a great place to live.
Well, nowadays it's a lot more industrial and kind of overpopulated. It's not like the island paradise that a lot of people would expect or believe. Guam, on the other hand. Anyway, I think we should probably wrap it up. Actually, one last thing. Dirk, you have mentioned the reanimation for Barbecue for Two. Is there what else have you been up to? You know, in the post-dumb era, what have you been doing?
I was storyboarding for Tom and Jerry in New York.
Huh.
That was a lucky moment, because I'm in a very bad position that I barely get jobs from America.
Oh.
Most of the studios are unionized and don't hire international people, or that was like from 2015 or something. I got rejected from Rick and Morty and other shows because I'm not living in America.
Oh.
I'm job hunting like forever. It feels like forever. But one day I was talking to Will Finn on Instagram,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Yeah, Renegade is not in any union. You can do a storyboard test if you like." Ooh. Like, I did the storyboard test, got my gigs, and did 3 episodes. It's Swiss Cuckoo, Coney Island Adventures, and To Your Health. Those are my episodes, and I'm very proud that I got that. It was like a revelation. Like, wow, Dirk, you can make it into the industry. There are
You
people,
still have it.
I still have it. You're not the bad artist, and stuff. But now the show is cancelled.
Oh.
Now I'm searching again for jobs, and I get rejection after rejection. And at one day you want to do anything, and what is the best to jump on a little trend, those reanimate things.
Mhm.
And I was searching for time. What could I reanimate? How can I organize it? And then I saw all those old Jack Kinney Popeye cartoons. There are also some Gene Deitch and Harvey Keitel episodes, but Jack Kinney is one of my favorite directors, animation directors. And Barbecue for Two was a weird find. And I said, that is so good and bad at the same time. It needs a reanimation. And I was completely spontaneous. I was like not prepared on anything. I never touched a cutting program or something. I said, I prepare it, fuck it. I ask all the people I know from the 20 years I'm online, and many people I know jumped on the project, like Aaron Hamiston. I hope I said the name right. He's a good
Wait,
author.
are you talking about Egoraptor?
No.
Oh, okay.
Aaron. Erin Hamiston. He
Oh, okay.
worked for Blue Sky, and now he's on Bob's Burger and
Oh,
doing a comic called The Band. And we exchanged a lot over the time. I did artwork for the comic, and he did the avatar of my Moscot for DeviantArt, that bouncy green thing. And I asked him, and he said, "Okay." And there are many other artists. Kyle is on board, the Frog Raccoon guy.
Mhm.
I got even Will Finn to animate an part. I got Milton Knight. I know he don't want to get connected with a character, but that is the truth. He's most famous for Dr. Robotnik and Sonic, the animated series from 1992, the cartoony one.
Oh,
Got
yeah.
him on board. I got Mike Dietz on board. He's a main animator on Earthworm Jim and Neverhood. Many popular people are on the board, and everyone has a very solid animation skill. I
Mhm.
was very picky. I admit. I asked some people, and they said no or yes, and then some people came in and pitched their reel and asked if they can join, and I was like, no. I don't want to be an ass, but I'm an ass. I say, no, there are so many good people in there. When you are between them,
The contrast is gonna be too
it's a
big.
contrast. It would be like the pickle on the ass. You would it would not benefit you. You would be down talked or harassed or whatever. No, I want to have a level of quality. It's not like Mama Luigi or whatever reanimated out there that is like 20, 30 minutes long, where you need as many animators as possible. It's a 5-minute short. I just needed 50 animators. I got my 50 animators, and they all have a good sense of animation and have the experience. I think it might be one of the highest quality reanimates that get out there
Yeah.
from what I saw so far. I was very picky, and I watched nearly every reanimate that is out there, and the ones that stuck out to me, I asked them like a maniac, "Can you join? Can you join?"
Please.
And I got a very good bunch of people.
It's wonderful. I hope it. I'm sure it'll do well, especially with high quality people like that. I'm glad. I'm happy to see all the progress on there. We'll need to plug it once it's done.
It's also a project that helped me to get hope back from the industry itself. Because when you live in Germany and you try so hard to get into this industry, and you see all those good people, maybe also some bad people. I don't want to say everyone is good. It's the truth. There are also some bad people, but they get the jobs in the industry because they are lucky and are in America. They live in Los Angeles or close
They
to
know
Los
how to network or whatever.
They know how to network. They can date the people, get out to lunch with them and talk with them all day. They can get friendships outside of the work. There is a part of nepotism here. It's a truth. And when you're in Germany and the only option is to talk to them online and barely, and then you have the time zones, and then you talk to them when they want to go to sleep or something, or when you want to go to. There's not the same between me and all these people. So I'm so isolated. But then I made that project and asked around, and most of the people were completely nice and said, "Yeah, I want to join," or explain a little bit, and "Oh, yeah, okay, no problem." And animating is hard as shit. So everyone who's working on their scene and delivered it in the deadline and put out so much quality in their 6 seconds mostly. I never went overboard and gave them their 1 minute or something. It's mostly between 5 seconds. The longest is 8 seconds or something.
Mm.
And they all bring quality. And I have my own Discord barbecue for 2, and they bring VIP animations in. It looks so good. It's Pete Yindi it's an Asian animator. He was the first to finish this scene. He did when Popeye is crashed in the freezer and is eating spinach, turned it into a 6-second animation gold scene, and every other scene that came in is nearly as good or even better sometimes. I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
The variety is so great, and all the people behind their scenes, there's also so much variety of people. Men, women, gay people, what I said in the beginning of this of the podcast. The
True diversity.
true diversity. Don't give a what they are. They are great artists, and that is the only thing that matters to me. And at the end, when it's also matters to you, great. And then you can see that they even representative to whatever you are, and that is even the little extra spice to the quality and overall joy.
I think that's always kind of been the philosophy I take with a lot of that sort of thing, like with identity politics, like so because there's a lot of stuff, especially if you look for it on the internet, of artists who are, maybe who are LGBT or people of color or whatever, and it's like that's cool, but at the end of the day, it's what you put out that should be the identifier. I'd rather be known for making quality content or for what I do than what I am. And that's the thing that I would want from any artist, and especially for the collaborative works like that. Like being able to showcase them as a great artist first, and then a whatever person next to that,
Do you know what I am?
The meme answer would be,
You're fucking a white male!
a straight white male. No, I don't know. No.
White maybe. But I
Maybe.
never said that I'm straight.
Whoa.
But I also don't say what I am, because it doesn't fucking matter.
And no one should care. We don't care.
And a little secret. It's not your fucking business.
But I'm glad to see that, you're at least doing it work, and it's great work. I can't wait to see how it looks. One more last thing. Before we sign off, I wanted to ask, is there any, I don't know how deep into the webcomic sphere you are in, but I want to ask, is there any kind of webcomic that you'd recommend that maybe some people aren't as aware of? Maybe.
I don't read any webcomic.
Oh, okay. I figured, but I was worth a shot.
Because I'm dead honest now, and you can hate me or love me for it, I don't care.
It's fine.
I'm a very, very, very picky person when it comes down to the art.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the webcomics are either very, very, very bad drawn, or very, very focused on a special target group.
I may know what you're talking about.
And those comics I really wanted to read are mostly only interesting for the art, but when it comes down to the story, it was mostly gag pages. I'm a person. I want a comic where there's a real world, and the art is also very unique. The jokes are not the old boring ones. I want to see a human who is dead authentic with what he's doing. And when I read stuff like Lackadaisy comics, and that 1930s cat comic, for example.
Yes, I am aware.
It's high quality artwork, but I don't care for any character in it. Or when I read stuff like what's an ongoing comic, I don't know even. There's one comic I was reading for a long time. But it's also not safe for work comic.
It's fine. We don't care.
What is his name? It's Ugl.
Oh, Oglaf.
Oglaf, yeah. Oglaf is.
Yeah.
Oglaf.
I fucking love Oglaf. Just because it's
so stupid, perverted, but there's a sense of authentic world building, character development somehow. Not deep, but they're reoccurring characters. There's sexual themes they are exploring, and not shy to show it, and stuff like that. It feels authentic, and it does not really want to pander to anyone. Actually, it's just there, and it got his fan base. But somehow, it also got a very one-pagey gag arty. I want to, and I think the comic I want is actually the equally seen like my Swiss comic, where there's one big story that is spread through 13, 15, 16 pages and has a beginning and an end. Then you get a new story in episode, like it's like a show with 26 episodes, and every episode has like a year of run. That is something I want to see. Like RPG comes close, but it's too cute for me. It's not my thing. Something like that. But yeah, I have no comic right now I can recommend. Not that I hate every comic that is out there. It's just I watch shows, I just watch movies, I want to draw my own stuff. There's so limited time, and I don't want to spend it on something that is not giving me anything. That is not my thing.
So here's the thing, though. Everything you said, I completely agree with. I'll be honest here, too. Because Lackadaisy, as you mentioned, yes, it's fucking beautiful, it's fantastic, it's so brilliant to look at, but...
the animations they are doing is also...
Oh my god, I couldn't bear to look at it, just because I'm like, if I feel like if I look at it, I'm just going to burst into flames out of embarrassment for myself that I cannot even hope to. It's like looking at God or some shit.
So much talent, but how much energy the furry community has to animate and put so much detail in their characters. Those are just cats, and they put so much heart and energy into it. Great, but it's just not my stuff.
The characters can feel a little shallow. Also, at times, like it's kind of like a one-note thing at certain points, and the plot doesn't really get going much.
I was trying to go like that Bonnie and Clyde era where with all those vintage times, 1930s futuristic
bootlegging,
art deco and stuff like that. That's fucking great, and the research level on that part is amazing. But it's a lot of feathers. But when you come down to the chicken, it's a bit too tiny and not.
It's lacking in meat. It's lacking in meat.
It's lackadaisy. No. I made a fun.
I will say though, one webcomic I would definitely recommend for you. Then, if you're wanting something that has that fucking unique art style and has a great atmosphere, world building, characters, and story, we've read like the first whole adventure of it on our show, but it's called Stand Still, Stay Silent, and I'm not just recommending it because it's kind of Eurocentric. It's because it's Scandinavian. But it actually plays with language barriers, actually. Because you got Finnish people, you got Danish people, you have Norwegians, and that sort of thing in this group. And it's really interesting. Like, the story is super cool, and the atmosphere and the pictures. Actually, I think I have one of the pictures here. I'm sure I have one saved somewhere, but it's definitely worth your time.
As long as comic is not treating me like a consumer who just likes fast food, and treating me like a thinking person who can also take some provocative elements that is challenging me and putting me out of my comfort zone and thinking and reflecting myself. That is the stuff I want.
Oh man, I don't think it goes more into that personal like feeling. It's more about the world building, and it has more elements of horror. I posted one of the pictures of one of the fucking monsters in this comic because
This reminds me of I forgot her name. Do you know The Meek?
the Meek.
The Meek is a webcomic by Dershing. I don't know if I spells the name right. This is a comic I really liked. The Meek by Dershing.
Can you type it in now? We'll take that. We'll take that. As the recommendation. I can at least I'll look at it, and we'll put the link to that in the description for people. Yeah.
He was also doing a comic about a Mars mission. She was also an old friend from DeviantArt times. The Meek.
Ah, okay. That's
It's a comic about four or three characters. One is a girl that is connected to the forest, like a hippie, not a hippie girl, but a rainforest spirit kind of girl. Then a militant person, and then a cowboy girl.
Ooh.
It's very unique.
It sounds really interesting. I'd definitely take a look at it. Who knows? Maybe we can actually put it in for an episode. Yeah.
Maybe. When you get her on, then I say to her, greetings from Dirk.
I don't know. Like I'll be honest. Like when I started the Let's Talk series, it was these are all. If people wondering like, why do we have these people? Because we've had a weird lineup so far. We had Gabe Swar, and then Rusty, who's a very infamous Tumblr artist, and now we have you. People may be wondering, how are we getting these people? Who are these people? And if you're ever wondering how we're getting them, it's very simple. I just ask them, hey, do you want to be on the show? And they say yes. That is the only answer.
That is the easiest way. The only thing they can say is no, or they're ghosting you.
Yeah, I mean, Katie kind of ghosted me, I think. Or no. Katie doesn't even have DMs open, so I couldn't even ask her.
I don't think she will respond. Not that she's bad person or anything. I think.
I'm sure she's like really fucking busy. she's got bigger fish to fry than little me. It's all right. But like I've always said, and that is the one thing I wanted to say about when you were talking about like deciding on a whim to make the reanimated thing. Like I've mentioned this with Rusty too. Like a lot of people don't understand. Like I'm sure you get people asking like, how do I get into like animating or into art or whatever? And the realest answer that I could ever give to someone is you have to just say fuck it. A lot of times, like the only way you can really start is just by saying fuck it. Even if you're not ready, even if you don't feel like you're ready or you don't have you're not starting on your right foot, you just have to go for it. A lot of times you just have to go for it because otherwise you're not getting anything. And worst thing happens, nothing happens and you're at square one. But you'll always have at least something.
I'm 38 years old and I drew 31 years in my life, and I was never there where I wanted to be. I just started and drew every day. And the quality comes with drawing. There's a skill, you can train yourself, and there's a talent. But talent is mostly that you understand drawing quicker than the other people and draw better than the other people who need 10 years to get there. That is the thing. Work, shut up, don't care what other assets think about your shit. Just draw. You find your audience or not, who cares? When you want to get into the industry, draw like what the industry wants to see. Otherwise, enjoy the people who like your very own unique art.
Yeah, work and do what works.
I never fell but I draw how I draw. People hate me, people love me. That is the best you can have. And it will never change.
You can't please all the people all the time, but you can make those that do happy, and you can at least make yourself happy, and that at the end of the day is the most important thing.
Make yourself happy. Drawing is like playing a guitar or reading a book, writing anything. It's something to calm you down and make you happy. When you like to draw porn, draw porn. When you like to draw gore, draw gore. Meat Canyon got a big fan base for drawing gore. So,
Yeah.
or his psychedelic, crazy animations.
Yeah.
There's always an audience for anything. You just have to be very clear what you want. Don't cross lines that hurt people, really hurt people, and have principles.
And at least be true to yourself.
Have rules for your work and be true to yourself. That is so basic that people don't understand it sometimes.
Yeah. Well, especially now in the internet age, because there's a lot of people that are big and they are they seem fake, or people will look at that and be like, I have to be like that, like especially on YouTube. Like there's so many fucking videos where I'll be like, oh hey, this guy's talking about like Destiny 2 or something, and I go like, oh sweet, it's a lore video, I want to listen to this. It's like an hour long, I don't give a shit. Load it up. The first thing I hear is,
the critically acclaimed Taken King is widely regarded as peak D1. In this series, we also played the vanilla campaign Dark Below, House of Wolves, and soon Rise of Iron, but only the funny parts. Let's begin.
Okay, 5 seconds in, I am going off this shit. This is fucking lame. And so many people, because a lot of people think that's because that's how you get people's attention. That's how you do it. But in reality, it just comes off as the most disingenuous thing. And if you're not being yourself, if you're not being honest, if you're trying to play things up, people can see through that like really easy. And you just have to hold yourself accountable and hold yourself to that standard and to that principle to be who you are. And people will come. If they come, if they don't.
Nice words. I cannot 100% agree, but I think that is a good point to wrap it up.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for coming, Dirk. This has been, I know this, I've held you for a bit longer than I probably should have, but it's been a blast. I am so happy. I'm so glad to have this on.
You have to cut like 1 hour content away now.
Nah.
Thanking you for talking with me.
No, don't worry. I have the political clown hats ready. We actually have a fucking gag where I will Photoshop, well, not really Photoshop, but just overlay like a clown hat on both of us, so that people will be like, to be like, hey, don't take this too seriously.
German, I have no humor.
Yes, true.
I'm always dead serious, and when I write on Twitter, it's always a hate crime.
What the hell? I thought we fucking fought to take away your rights. Damn it.
I say it again. I'm nearly 80 to 90% never serious.
Yeah.
I'm goofing around all the time. Even when it does not appear like that. There was a time in 2017 and 18, but that is a different topic.
In either case, it is that's gonna do it. Time to say goodbye, Dirk. So wave goodbye to the people. Bye.
Schlaft gut.
Guten Tag. Guten Nacht.
Gute Nacht.